The Darkest Lost Media, Volume 3.
I desire Heavenly Father's Spirit to be the teacher of thy week. I can only tell the truth.
Dude, when's the last time Nexpo even made one of these? It's been like so long since he's done one of these. Subtitles? Doesn't he not have subtitles on these? Maybe he doesn't. I don't like that. Foreboding! It's foreboding!
March 21st, 1997. History of the Prophet Joseph Smith. In 5th through 8th grade class. How anxious I am for Heavenly Father's Spirit to touch the minds and hearts. For what the Prophet Joseph Smith did was right.
Hailing from a tiny Utah town called Short Creek was a
I love Colts.
cult, the Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints, FLDS for short.
Oh, okay. All right.
Most recently run under the grasp of a man named Warren Jeffs,
Uh-oh.
they operated completely under the radar for the better part of the past century. For years, Jeffs and his predecessors maintained strict control over their members, preaching the central idea that plural marriages were not only a God-given right, but were the only way for members to access the kingdom of heaven.
Oh my God.
He was known to call himself the prophet, the only member of the church who could talk to God.
Oh,
And if God told him that you should marry someone, you wouldn't go against his will, would you? Wife after wife after wife, the prophet would arrange to wed, not only for the adult men inside the church, but most prominently for himself.
dude, imagine like, God, it's just so fucked because it's literally just a pervert and a creep. That's literally all this guy is a pervert and a creep, but he was able to manipulate all these people. That's crazy, dude.
Tens, hundreds of women were used as pawns, tickets that they believed would grant them eternal salvation. And as you'd expect, their ages were never considered.
What a surprise.
Inside the FLDS, hundreds of children were born through underage mothers, forced into arranged marriages with men upwards of 85 years of age. And all of them wholeheartedly believed that they were carrying out.
Bro, what is this liminal space shit going on here?
And all of them
Is this real? This doesn't even look real.
wholeheartly
Like this is terrifying. It's like a horror game.
believed that they were carrying out the will of God.
Yeah, it's like the back rooms. Why is it multiple wives, never multiple husbands? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you why.
The story of the FLDS is one of the darkest I know, and they,
Crazy.
too, have troves of media both destroyed and sealed away. We will be diving into the full story of the FLDS very soon.
Oh,
However, they're not fully the reason we're here tonight.
okay.
In 2008, a game show premiered on Fox called The Moment of Truth.
Oh, dude,
It
there's been so many fucking videos about this
Involved
show.
contestants answering highly controversial and often abrasive questions in front of a live
God,
studio
this show,
audience in
dude.
exchange for an ever-growing grand
This
prize.
show was terrible.
Prior to each episode, contestants would take a polygraph test to ensure the accuracy of their responses on stage. And I'm sure you can see how this could go downhill very quickly. Answer a highly personal, highly secret question correctly in front of the world, and the bag of cash dangling over your head grows ever more. Answer it wrong, however, and your affairs are exposed in front of thousands and are forever etched into broadcast history.
So fucked up, dude.
In August of 2010, a contestant named Melanie Williams took the stage for the show's 9th episode of its 2nd season.
I've seen this one!
Unlike those that competed before her, however, Melanie carried with her a dark, disturbing past.
Yeah.
While living in a polygamous community, did you know of any underage girls who were married to adult men?
Yeah.
That answer is true.
Wow. But nothing could stop
Thank you, Chaotic Dirt Wizard, for the 10 months.
her dramatic climb to the top.
As it turns out, Melanie Williams grew up inside the FLDS and witnessed firsthand the atrocities committed against the women and children within. To this day, Season 2, Episode 9, her debut, is completely scrubbed from existence, leaving us with only an archived trailer hinting at the inner details she revealed. Interestingly, even though Episode 9 is considered lost, Melanie actually returned for Episode 10, one that has been found in full. Within it, she takes the stage for a final $500,000 question, the grand prize of this show and something no contestant before her has ever been able to win. In the beginning, host Mark Wahlberg warns her of what she's about to be faced with, giving her an opportunity to opt out. However, after reading it and taking a moment to really let it sink in, she decides apprehensively that she's gonna do it.
I remember this one.
I'm gonna do it for my dad. I'm gonna go for it.
You're going for it? Holy moly!
Are you okay?
It's a tough question, excuse me. But it's a tough question for me. It's a tough question.
He was really brave for that, yeah.
Tearful and aware of what she's about to reveal, her father questions what could possibly be causing a reaction like this. She has, up to this point, aired out so much already. How much more really is there?
Yes?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. For $500,000,
Oh, man. If you guys haven't seen this shit yet, oh, boy.
Melanie Williams. Question 21. Do you believe your father, as an adult, has ever had sexual relations with a minor?
Oh!
Yes.
That
Oh my
answer
god.
is true.
Dude, everyone's fucking cheering that she won $500,000. Bro, she just admitted that her dad had sexual relationships with minors, man. Like, oh! Oh! Don't fucking rub his shoulder! Don't you dare! Who is that? Is that the wife? Don't rub his shoulder up. It's okay, honey. No! Don't you dare! No!
The audience erupts as Melanie sits, shocked at what she just unveiled to the world. Her father, equally stunned. And it all culminates in one of the strangest, most dystopian moments that I have ever seen on broadcast television. As the family embraces, Wahlberg questions her father about this illegal relationship, to which he completely downplays it.
All the time.
As part of that culture.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, I remember that, where they're like, oh, it's not really that big of a deal. It's just, it's just how it is,
Let's hear what Conrad feels of that.
Gosh. I'm not sure when I did this, I knew what a minor was. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Wife number 2 was 17. She had just gotten out of high school.
Ew! Ew! Yeah, it's a tater. It's a good old tater.
In January of 2011, over 4 months after this episode aired, Melanie Williams took to her personal blog to clear up any speculation about her time on the show.
Uh-oh.
Within a post made on January 7th, she claims that her father had actually lied that night. That the girl wasn't 17 like he claimed.
Oh no.
In reality, she was 14.
Oh!
And her name was Joy.
Oh! What the fuck?
As far as it's known, her father has neither been investigated nor charged since this aired, and there's been no further updates from Melanie herself. Even so, this broadcast is one of the strangest that I have ever watched, and I wouldn't be surprised if it contributed to the Bowling Truth's cancellation. Regardless of whether Season 2, Episode 9 is ever found, Melanie Williams successfully exposed the illegal atrocities committed by one of the world's darkest cults in front of thousands. A cult that has done everything in its power to keep its depraved history a secret. And a cult, the FLDS, who manipulated and abused women and children for over a century. All veiled under the will of God.
Thought she stuck to the fact she revealed it, but what the fuck, nothing happened yet?
Well,
dude, that's like the weird thing about cults and shit like this. I don't know what it is, but no one ever really does anything. When it's like an entire community, when the people are so goddamn brainwashed, like there's, what are you supposed to do? Arrest everyone? You know what I mean? Like, what can you do? Like I don't know. Every time it's involved with a cult, it always feels like nothing ever gets done and nothing ever happens. Even when children are getting, for example, married to older men or something. It's just like I don't know.
Return after these messages.
Alright guys, before we continue, I'd like to tell you about tonight's video sponsor, Saley.
Alright, let's go to your code.
Thank you so much to Saley for sponsoring tonight's video. Now let's get the code on screen right.
Oh, okay, right there. There's a scan code. 15% off at checkout with code NEXPO. Yo, look at NEXPO's arms, bruh. Yo, he be lifting. He be lifting. Look at them veins, bro. Sorry.
Right now and get started. You can also click the link in the description below. Thank you so much to Saley for sponsoring tonight's video. Now let's get back to it.
You recently had a black eye? Holy shit. Wait, I can see that. What happened? That looks brutal. And that's it, like, basically healed. He won? Oh, yeah. I'm sure he did. MMA? I don't know if it's that. Hopefully he won. I'm sure he did, bro. He's built. I want that build, bro.
When you're at landmark number 1, you're the one who's number 1.
Why do these faceless YouTubers look so good? Bro, I know. Like Nick Crowley, fucking Nexpo. Dude, I should just go faceless. Maybe I'll look better when I pop out. Boo! Yeah. I'll just like go like incognito for like the next few years and just boo, just pop right out. I'll just be like chiseled, insanely handsome, buff as shit.
It's October 1999. Residents on the south end of Fort Worth, Texas, notice a certain
I'm not gonna be bald
lingering in the air. It's repugnant, nauseating, a pungent, pervasive odor of rot. The stench is inescapable, rapidly enveloping parks, homes, and businesses. Something in the area is festering, and it's carrying an inescapable wave of what can only be described as the smell of deteriorating flesh.
Wait, like an entire town is smelling this shit?
Disgusted and worried, residents in the area contact authorities in the hopes that anyone can figure out what the hell is going on. This odor has come up so quickly, so where in the world is it coming from?
Alright, I'm gonna finish eating this before it gets gross. Alright, we're good.
Just look for this green pea.
Check out this week's Green Price specials on all flavors of Jell-O frozen pudding pops.
For the sweetness of the grapes and
that Ralph, you expect this kind of quantity. What is it?
It's like my mother always told me, get what you want, but get it at Waldbaum's.
Waldbaum's? The fuck kind of name?
I know how good my quality meat tastes, but you have to see how good Waldbaum's prices look.
Bro. Waldbaum.
Resting at the corner of Hemphill and West Fogg Street in Fort Worth, Texas, sits an abandoned building. A grocery store called the Mexia Supermarket. Known to have been owned by a family from Laos, it served the surrounding neighborhood for years. But here,
they cutting up dead bodies?
They were nowhere to be found. Their store is rotting, their home vacant, and it's like they up and left, leaving the only remnants of their existence. A neighborhood suffering from an inescapable smell, and a grocery store that's festering.
Wait, is it just a bunch of rotting meat in there?
Right under its own weight. Inside, rotting deli and meat discolored.
Oh, it is.
As bacteria consumed it.
Oh,
Produce
gross.
began to wither and emit hazardous gas.
Oh.
Frozen goods and milk exploded due to an uncontrolled fermentation inside them. And the air inside, unbreathable, as the oxygen was completely depleted.
Oh.
As you'd expect, the building, by the time it was found, was in a state of complete disrepair. As
no one, like not a single person was like, hey, maybe we should take everything out of there first.
Maggots, roaches, rats, and thousands of flies had nested within its crevices. The scene? Unreal. And all of this was the product of a building left to decay.
Yeah, just nuke it at that point.
For
Burn
nearly
it.
3 months.
They just up and left. I know, but I'm saying like just people in general. Like no one like noticed. I don't know. Like what if you go to that shop every single day, all of a sudden it closes and then like you go and look and like everything's still in there, but they're still closed. And no one's like, hey man, there's a bunch of shit in there. Like, you know, maybe we should figure that out. You think the cops would at least investigate? Or just the city in general, you know? Like the government of the city, wouldn't they like check that shit out? Isn't there like some type of like city laws and shit that...
In the following days, the Fort Worth Health Department officially declared the site as a health hazard, sparking a massive cleanup operation. But as they assessed the building, they realized that it would prove far more complicated than initially imagined. Because of the live rodents, millions of insects, and the buildup of hazardous gas, demolishing or burning the building down wasn't possible, as everything within it would simply migrate to the neighboring homes.
Oh.
And so, instead, a crew was hired to clean it by hand. Decked out in hazmat suits and oxygen tanks, they were tasked with bagging and removing the rotten food.
Dude, that's rough.
Disinfecting every surface inside.
Oh, that's
and
rough.
fumigating the premises, all while navigating through the millions of insects surrounding them. Reportedly, the initial scene was so infested with flies that cleanup crews couldn't even see more than a few feet in front of them.
What the fuck?
The cleanup efforts took nearly a month to complete, and by December, the building stood completely empty, yet still carrying a lingering odor of rot.
Dude, imagine living next to that.
It was eventually bought out and rebranded as a store.
Bro, someone bought that shit? Yo! What? They reused that fucking building? Ew! Gross!
Called Terry's. However, according to a review left on Google, nearly 14 years after Mexia, the place, even still, reportedly smelled like death. All of the footage you've seen so far has been taken from a 2010 History Channel documentary called Life After People. And while it gives us an inside look at the conditions there, it's merely a small piece of this story. As it turns out, tons of news coverage was taken, showcasing both the interior and exterior of the building before the cleanup operation began. However, as of now, it stands completely inaccessible. According to an online user named The Hookup, the news coverage of Mexia depicted a scene so repulsive that the windows appeared blackened due to the millions of roaches and flies covering them.
Oh.
I did have dreams about this one neighborhood in Fort Worth that was due to a news story at the time. A supermarket in this one low-income area of town just closed one day. The images on the news are what gave me bad dreams. Windows blackened by millions of roaches, rats in swarms. The smell had to be apocalyptic. 2-month-old fish, 2-month-old carrots, pork, thousands upon thousands of rat droppings. I was obsessed with the story.
I'm glad I finished my potato before I watched this part.
Hence why I dreamt about it, being in there. It still freaks me out.
It didn't say milk murder, chat. It said MLK murder, by the way. I know what you're talking about. It says MLK, not milk, not milk.
Millions of roaches with the story. Hence why I dreamt about it, being in.
Fuck you, pig. I'm dyslexic, bro. Like, just read. I don't get it.
To this day, this 1 minute of video is the only known footage in existence depicting the absolute
like, open your
nightmare
eyes.
left behind inside Mexia supermarket.
Dyslexic doesn't mean you're blind. Like,
and as we've seen, while evidence of other archives are out there, they have seemingly been buried in the void of broadcast history.
Pig, aren't you dyslexic? No, I'm eptopic.
With attention to it growing day by day, perhaps someday more footage about this will emerge. However, as of now, this is all we have, and it just might stay that way for years to come.
Bro, that sucks. That story is not even like scary necessarily. It's just like fucking disgusting. You're dangerously pregnant. Chat, shut up.
This is VH1.
Video Hits 1.
Chat, close your eyes.
After waiting some considerable time to find a well-set-up gentleman, Megan was prepared to meet a man she could wind up spending the rest of her life with.
Dating show?
I'm nervous. I'm excited.
Is that a woman?
2009.
Hold up. Woman?
A reality show airs on VH1 starring a woman named Megan Hauserman. It's called Megan Once a Millionaire, and it involves 18 suitors vying for her love by competing in challenges.
Wait, I think I've heard of
trying
this
to impress
one.
her with high dollar.
Yeah, I think I remember this one. I've heard
Out
of
of
this
every
one.
contestant on the show, a man named Ryan Jenkins had stood out to her. He was charming and witty, a trait so prevalent that the production team granted him the nickname Smooth Operator. Now, drama was, and still is, no stranger to reality TV, and Megan Once a Millionaire was no different. With such a bombastic cast of rich men vying for a woman by primarily flaunting their wealth, I'm sure you can see how this fell into the junk food category of shows out there. Now, that's all completely fine, and nothing about Megan Once a Millionaire was even that big of a deal. In fact, we wouldn't even be talking about this show today if it weren't for the fact that by the time this show was set to air its 4th episode,
she died.
Ryan Jenkins' wife was dead.
Oh, wait. Hold up. I'm thinking of something else then. Hold up.
August 15th. Police are investigating a dumpster in Buena Park, California. Reportedly, a foul smell is emanating from it. yet it isn't the kind you'd expect. This isn't the smell of trash. It's not an animal. It's something else. A few moments later, they dig out a densely packed suitcase. And upon opening it,
it's not a suitcase. That's a duffel
staring
bag.
skyward is the mutilated, mangled body of a blonde female. Her teeth are gone.
Oh!
Her fingers severed.
Oh!
And her clothing nowhere to be found.
Oh!
Immediately, the police open a case. They realize that whoever did this went out of their way to sever any identifying feature from her body. However, curiously, one still remained. You see, this woman had breast implants, and given that these carry their own serial numbers, it gave authorities a potential lead for identification. Even still, however, this woman was unrecognizable, ultimately leaving 3 pivotal questions to linger. Who was this? Who did this? And how in the world did she end up here? Hours later, authorities receive a phone call. It's from Ryan Jenkins, and he's pleading. His wife, an LA model named Jasmine Fiore, had reportedly up and vanished. He claims that the previous night, the two arrived back at their home in Los Angeles before she left to run errands. However, since then, nothing. Over the next 48 hours, the breast implants were verified to belong to Jasmine Fiore, and as a result, her husband Ryan Jenkins had become a person of interest in her murder. Yet, once they began looking into his movements over the few days prior, they realized that Jasmine Fiore, contrary to Ryan's testimony, had never arrived home.
What a surprise.
As it turns out, on the night of her death, the pair had gone to the LaBerge Hotel in Del Mar, California for a poker tournament. And on CCTV, the pair can be seen arriving, getting settled in, and leaving. Oddly, however, at 4:30 in the morning on August...
So, he was doing this dating show while he had a wife? Hold up. Are you telling me that reality shows are fake?
15th, just hours before Jasmine's body was uncovered, they discover a panicked Ryan Jenkins, yet he's completely alone. Jasmine, wherever they went, never returned with him. She was never seen alive again.
And Santa isn't real too? Okay, stop with that bullshit, all right? I ain't having no Santa deniers in my chat.
Jenkins becomes their lead suspect. However, tracking him down proved to be difficult. He went on the run, from their home in LA to Nevada, Nevada to Utah, Utah to Canada, and all of this was done in the span of just 2 days.
Jesus.
Because of this, he was officially charged with the murder of Jasmine Fiore on August 20th. Yet, because he was evading arrest, he always seemed to be one step ahead. It wasn't until the morning of August 23rd when authorities would locate him at a motel called Thunderbird in Hope, Canada. However, their encounter wouldn't go at all as planned. That morning, Ryan Jenkins had never checked out. In fact, for the 3 days he was staying there, not a sound ever came from his room, and no one ever
killed himself?
Left.
Or he did.
In reality, he had taken his own life.
God, dude, it's always these fucking bitches, man. These pussies. Cowards! Coward!
And inside his room, he awaited.
Can never face the music, man.
Search for a reality show contestant charged with the first-degree killing of his ex-wife is finally over. Ryan Jenkins was found dead in a motel room in Canada yesterday, an apparent suicide. But officials say the investigation is far from over. Zuleika Nathu from the CBC.
Why would you flee to off yourself like that? He probably realized he wasn't going to be able to get away with it.
Following his capture, VH1 had placed Megan Once a Millionaire on an indefinite hiatus, leaving episodes 4 to 6, the remainder of the season, never to air. After an internal investigation, it was found that Jenkins was charged with assault over 2 years prior to filming, something that should have restricted him from ever being allowed on TV.
Yeah.
Even further, there were reportedly countless other contestants with charges as well, opening up the door to accusations that VH1 perhaps overlooked these in hopes of sowing drama and driving up ratings.
Well, I mean, do you really think like big companies like that are ever safe about anyone they hire? I mean, just look at Hollywood in general, bro.
For years, episodes 4 through 6 of Megan Once a Millionaire was unseen by anyone outside of the studio. However, in 2020, Megan herself released episodes 4 and 5 on her personal YouTube channel. Even still, though, the finale eludes the public, and given the controversy that took place, it's unlikely to ever be released. To this day, VH1 and the entire landscape of reality TV has felt the effects of this tragedy. Yet nothing could ever compare to the grief the family of Jasmine Fiore underwent as they lost their loved one. According to Jasmine Fiore's mother, their relationship was never healthy. They were always fighting, always arguing about something, but never did she think that Ryan Jenkins would take the life of her daughter. Never did she think that he would leave her in the condition he did. It felt like a complete nightmare. Yet it was painfully, agonizingly real. Megan Once a Millionaire.
Dude, I just hope that she was dead before he did all that other shit, like her teeth being gone and stuff. That's fucked up,
to this day, remains as an eerie look at the faces people put on for cameras. Yet once they're off and everyone inevitably returns home, we truly don't know any of them.
Hear that, chat? You have no idea. You don't know me. When the camera's off, who knows? Who knows who I am?
Reality TV, they call it. Even when it isn't reality at all.
You take your true form, yeah. Actually, Amy was talking to me today about, I don't know the name of the person, but she's watching like a streamer or something like that, or a clip of a streamer. And like they were doing their goodbyes, like, oh my God, everyone, have a great day. I hope you have a wonderful night. And then it's just like they just like this completely like that whole like fake ass personality just like gets shut off like a switch. That shit's crazy, bro. That people like put on that like ridiculous personality shit.
And last week's number 1 down to number 2, Underworld from Ultimate.
I wear a mask with a smile for hours at a time.
It's late at night, and a conversation is playing out between 2 online users, InExcess00 and No1093.
I can't get up off his fat dick.
It's charged, inappropriate, a glance into the most depraved desires of the human psyche. This correspondence carries on for days.
Fucking MSN Messenger.
However, there's just one problem.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing. What are you doing?
Nothing at the moment.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Did you go get your other money?
Yes, I did.
Good for you.
Did you leave yet?
No.
You didn't leave yet?
No.
Are you going to come or not?
Yes, I shall.
Well, when are you going to come over?
Well, a little later.
A little later?
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah, I guess.
Boy.
You're silly.
You're the silly one.
I don't like this. I don't like that at all. I didn't like that.
In Excess 00 in the real world is a 56-year-old man named Lewis Conradt.
What?
And all throughout his chats and phone calls, he fully believes that he's conversing with a 13-year-old boy.
Oh. Great. Trauma Tuesdays. Oh, what the fuck?
November 11th, 2004. Dateline NBC airs a show that you just might have heard of.
I've never heard of it.
It's called To Catch a Predator, and in collaboration with police and a watchdog group named Perverted Justice, they performed sting operations around the country, luring in and exposing predators on national television. In July of 2006, the production team commenced a multi-month sting operation in the town of Murphy, Texas, for a proposed 2-part special in the show's second season. Among those caught were a 54-year-old math teacher named Stanley Kendall, a 52-year-old oil drilling consultant named Randall Wolford, and a 56-year-old district attorney for Kaufman County, Texas, named Lewis Conradt.
What?
Aside from the surprising number of high-profile individuals all living a secret life, Conrad starkly stood out among the others. For years, he climbed the ranks of the Texas legal system, contributing to the prosecution of countless criminals. Because of this, he carried an extensive knowledge of Texas law.
A lot of people seem to know this one. I don't think I know this one.
They'd have to carefully navigate if they were successfully to convict this guy. For his entire career, Conrad was well-liked and respected, they thought. So why in the world is he doing this?
Spooky Door Creek sound effect. .mp3.
As the months carried on, the conversations between Lewis Conradt and No One 093 would only become more depraved. Lewis would share explicit images, express a strong desire to meet, and would consistently bring up subjects that a 13-year-old has no business talking about online.
Goody! Oh!
But throughout all of this, little did he know that No One 093 wasn't who he said he was. The entire persona was a setup, and the predator, Lewis Conradt, had fallen straight into his trap. According to Texas law, engaging in explicit conversation with a minor is a third-degree felony, a crime that Lewis Conradt had, without a doubt, heavily partook in. Because of this, on November 5th, 2006, Tarrant County PD had obtained a search warrant and set out to his home to finally arrest him.
Oh, did they not do an episode? Or did they straight up just like went for him?
When they arrived, the police had hoped that Conrad would recognize them and come out to talk. However, his behavior wasn't so straightforward. Through his window, they could see a TV playing and a computer running, yet Lewis was nowhere to be seen. And so, they break in, clear out room after room, yet once they make it to his main hallway, they discover him standing eerily still, seemingly awaiting them.
Uh-oh. Hold up. He's just standing there,
frozen in place. Lewis begins pleading, explaining that he's not gonna hurt anyone. However, before the police can react, he, out of nowhere, pulls out a handgun from behind his back, turns it on himself, and takes his own life.
Classic. Classic. I mean, it's like the classic pedophile thing to do. Like when a pedophile gets caught, fucking pussies, man.
As the camera crew stood outside, the sound of a loud crack had broken the stillness in the air.
Oh,
and
shit.
For a brief moment, they were unaware of the scene awaiting them inside. No one expected Lewis Conradt to do this. No one expected him to prey on an underage kid. No one expected any of this.
The man who has prosecuted criminals for more than 2 decades shot himself. We watched as an emergency medical team arrived and hoped they could somehow save him. But as Conradt is brought out on a stretcher, it's clear his condition is grave.
To this day, this incident is regarded as one of the darkest in To Catch a Predator's history. And because of litigation and their dwindling relationship with advertisers, the show was canceled the following year. While most aspects of this case, like the chat logs, the phone calls, and the aftermath are readily accessible online, there is one piece of media that has, to this day, never been released.
Yeah, why does he have a T? Conrad? Like what?
Reportedly, there's an audio tape of
Dude, I
Conrad's
swear people just add letters to names and just say, oh, it's silent for no fucking reason. Like we need to chill out with silent letters. Like that is the most egregious silent letter I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like they're just adding it to add it. Holy shit. Like silent letters shouldn't even be real, man.
final words taken from police body
What's
cameras.
the point of them? Just take them out.
For
You can't, you know to say them. Just take them out.
Sealed away. The Lewis Conrad story is one of the most depraved situations that never should have happened.
Let's cancel
He was a
silent
man
letters,
who
chat.
knew better. A man who should have done better. A man who preyed on the most vulnerable subset of humanity. While the recording of his final moments may never see the light of day, his vile actions will forever be known, and his name immortalized as a monster that once lived among us.
Oh, he said among us. Also, no, Aaron is not a silent, like this, there's no silent A. I'm saying the A. The A is there. All right? Shut up. It's not silent. There's no silent A because I'm fucking saying the A. Shut up. Old Discovery Channel. Silent Hill 2. Good game.
It's
Good game.
the early 2000s, and Silent Hill 2 haunts the world. Circuit City runs a special on camcorders, and over on CBS Channel 11, a bear enthusiast named Timothy Treadwell appears
Oh no. Oh no. I have something to tell you about this case after we watch it.
By every measure, Timothy Treadwell is a lifelong wildlife admirer. For the past 11 years, he's gone out of his way to live with bears native to Katmai National Park in Alaska.
I think you guys can
documenting
see
his
where this is going.
experiences wherever he can. Anytime this man was out in the wild, he had a camera on him and seemed to carry a remarkable lack of fear as he interacted with animals that could quite literally end his life at any moment. Throughout the 1990s, Treadwell was known to travel across the US, educating aspiring young adults on the intricacies of bears and their relationship with their natural environment.
It's like Dwight IRL.
With this, he would share videos of his excursions, catalyzing an appreciation for the natural world to a new generation of young minds. These efforts would cause Treadwell to skyrocket in popularity, and by the early 2000s, he had effectively become a household name. From what it seemed, Treadwell's way of life was inherently dangerous, yet entirely rewarding. A dance with the devil at every turn, yet it was something he was massively enamored by. He felt this sense of oneness, a connection to a species that humans,
Bro,
for as
so
long as we've
close to
lived,
those bears, man.
have inherently feared.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. Yep, I've seen this picture.
In October of 2003, Timothy Treadwell had convinced his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, to venture out with him to Katmai National Park.
This story is so sad,
Contrary
man.
to his other excursions, however, this one was markedly late in the year. You see, October's on the brink of hibernation season, a time in which bears are aggressively scavenging for food to get them through the winter. On top of this, there was a drought that plagued the area that year, drying up the food supply and causing an extra layer of aggression of the native wildlife. Effectively, the environment was incredibly tense. Competition ran high. Yet, even still, Timothy convinced Amy to trust him, as he was eager to continue his study of a species that he's carried a
Why did he have to bring her? Why did he have to go? Oh.
It's been noted that Amy never wanted to go on this trip.
Oh,
In
God,
fact,
dude.
she feared bears.
Oh,
Painful,
God. Oh, God. Oh, Amy, no, bro. That's so
It's
sad.
the next day, and the forest is quiet. An air taxi pilot named Willie Fulton lands his plane near the couple's campsite to pick them up for their trip back home. Upon jumping out and looking around, however, Fulton quickly realizes that something isn't right. Timothy and Amy are nowhere to be seen, and all that greets him is a torn-up campsite and a bear. A very disgruntled bear. Confused by what he's witnessing and fearing for his safety, Fulton jumps back into his aircraft and calls in a report to the area's park rangers. And once they arrive, they shoot the bear dead, scour the surrounding area, and shockingly, uncover a scene completely unexpected. Throughout their campsite, the mutilated, half-eaten remains of Timothy and Amy are scattered across the ground.
Oh,
Their
God.
bodies have been violently torn apart. Timothy's head and arms are littered around the camp, and Amy is haphazardly buried in a pile of dirt.
It's not the bear's fault. It doesn't matter. When a bear eats a human, it has to get put down, bro. I know it's not the bear's fault. It's their fault. Sorry, Timothy's fault for going out there. Not Amy's fault at all. But yeah, like after a bear eats human, it's like, no, bear's got to go.
Next to their tent. That night, Timothy Treadwell and Amy Huguenard lost their lives at the hand of a wild bear. And in the 85-year history of Katmai National Park, the two of them were the first to ever die this way.
That's got to be like one of the worst ways to die, dude.
While investigating the campsite, the park rangers, surprisingly, came across a camera that recorded the attack. Reportedly, the lens cap was left on, leaving just 6 minutes of audio at the very end of their tape, depicting their final moments.
Yeah.
To this day, this audio has never been released.
Okay, that's a good part to mention. When I was younger and I found this story, I remember like I like there was like a thing. It was like, oh, this is the real footage, like the real audio of like them getting ripped apart. And I was like, no way this is real. And I clicked on it, and bro, I don't know who did the voice acting in that shit, but oh my God, dude, that literally like traumatized me to my core, thinking that I was listening to people getting ripped up by a bear. And I was like, oh my God, like it genuinely traumatized me. And then I figure out that it's fake, and I was like, oh, thank fucking God, dude. Because I was like, I'm going to be traumatized for life. That's going to stick with me forever if that's actually real. I don't know who recorded that shit, but they did a good fucking job. It was fake, but they did a good job.
However, write-ups from those who had heard it firsthand paint a picture straight out of a nightmare.
I feel bad for the people who had to listen to it.
It supposedly went something like this. The tape begins with the sound of Timothy outside of their tent during a storm. A bear has wandered into their camp. However, before he can react, he's violently attacked. In immense distress, he begins to scream, pleading for Amy to come to his aid. And so she unzips the tent, heads outside, and commands for Timothy to play dead. A few moments later, in believing Timothy to be deceased, the bear retreats into the dark, to which Amy, in complete shock, rushes to Timothy's aid. Understandably, she's screaming and crying. Her boyfriend, a man who spent his entire life devoted to nature, has just been brutally attacked by the very thing he loved. But as it sinks in, the bear out of nowhere returns to Timothy, grabs his body, and drags him into the dark.
It's fucking nightmare fuel, dude. Oh my god.
Since this incident, the one and only copy of this tape has been left in the possession of Treadwell's longtime friend, Jewel Palovak, who, to this day, has never listened to it.
Yeah.
And aside from the authorities, the only other person who's known to have heard it is documentarian Werner Herzog. Just a few seconds in, however, he pulled his headphones off, instructed Jewel never to listen to it, and strongly urged her to destroy it.
Yeah.
As far as it's known, Jewel Palovak remains in possession of this fabled tape and has vowed to both keep it sealed away and to never listen to it in her lifetime. With this, the final moments of Treadwell and Huguenard's lives are shrouded in a cloud of uncertainty.
I heard what I don't know if this is true, but from what I heard from the story is that Amy, after her Timothy got taken away by the bear, she decided to start running away from the bear. If you guys know anything about bears, it's the worst thing you could do. She's running away and the bear chased her down. And that's how apparently she died too.
Certainty, leaving the world around them to eternally speculate about it.
Instinct. I know, it's like you can't, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in that situation, man? You know?
This tape, much like with Christine Chubbuck, is one of the darkest, most haunting cases of lost media that I truly believe we will never get our hands on.
And we don't need to.
It's a tragedy that never should have happened. A freak incident deep in the woods.
I mean, to be fair, it was highly preventable. Like, Timothy made a horrible choice. Like, he should have known what he was getting himself into. Especially taking his girlfriend who's afraid of bears. It was just a terrible oversight.
6 minutes of audio depicting one of the most gruesome ways to die that we may never hear in our lifetime.
You think from a guy that knew a lot about bears? Yeah, I know, right? Man, that was rough. Ugh. I hate that story, dude. Even to this day, I hate that story. It gives me the chills, the heebie-jeebies. Just thinking about getting ripped apart by a fucking bear. And like, honestly, I feel like Amy had it the worst because like Timothy was already getting attacked and he probably died. I wouldn't say quick, but you know, he died. But she had to watch Timothy die, right? Couldn't do anything about it. And then get chased down by the bear after, you know, like, ugh, blah, God, fucking horrible.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.